don't know unless we stumble on somebody else who knows. So, is there anybody here who's not retired? Some of us are. All right, so this is the deal. First of all, you know that if you were married to someone for at least 10 years, you can draw on their Social Security. Male, female, doesn't matter. You were married for 10 years, you can draw. But the second thing, that's pretty common knowledge, but the second thing I learned right when I retired, so just before I retired, I was old enough to retire, but I decided I wasn't going to, so work. So it turned out that I actually could draw on John while I was working. And then when I retired, because John's 10 years old, so my income, I'm younger, my income's a little marked. So when I retired, I could then draw on myself. Or I could have waited to 70 or 72 and just kept drawing on it, and then gotten a higher one for myself. So I think it's something most people don't know, and it's something to pay attention to because it actually can make a huge, huge difference in your Social Security check.
While you work.
Yes. So but even if I had retired, my age for retirement was 66 and a half. If I had retired then, I could have just kept drawing on John, waited till I was 70 or whatever the age when I wanted to, and drawn on my own. And what happens is the longer you leave your Social Security in, up to 70 it grows. So at some point it cuts off. You don't get any more. But you know, all those, every year you wait, it gets a little bigger and a little bigger. So it's not something I knew, and I've been working in the field of age for years. So I was grateful to the Social Security person who told me about it. The other thing that came up at that family meeting is Alzheimer's and dementia, which is not unusual. It's always someone in our church or someone in our hearts who has had some kind of dementia. You know, all of our recent research is showing that a lot of chronic disease has now something to do with dementia and Alzheimer's. So it's kind of back to what we talked about then, is that a healthy lifestyle, healthy choices in that regard, exercise, staying engaged. We were talking about Frida this morning about staying engaged in life. You might retire, but then it's time to join your church council and do something, right? Because you gotta keep active, you gotta keep going. So you really want to kind of pay attention, I think, to what's going on in the world, because Alzheimer's is no longer that just dreaded disease that we can't think about. It's really something now. Researchers are showing us that this stuff starts earlier in our life, and we want to do everything we can to stay as healthy as possible. So those were two things. John's going to say a couple words, and then I got one more thing I wanted to mention, and then we're done. Okay. All right.
Talk with you about whether or not you know anyone who has a family member who has Alzheimer's or a caregiver. You know anyone that has it? You know what they're going through. And one of the things that we're trying to do is to let family and other people know that while there are no cures for Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and so forth, there are things you can perhaps do to maximize you not coming down with those dreaded diseases. Again, there's no cure. The things you can do, like your lifestyle, exercise, being involved with things and so forth. What happens, the reason why we forget things is because our brain cells carry information to and from. And what happens as we get older and those other conditions and diseases that contribute to Alzheimer's and so forth, they start to block off that passage or the exchange of information. And because you've got neurons, you've got microtubules and so forth, and you've got tau. And you can imagine the train tracks, your tubules carry that information through those kind of tubes. And what happens when they break off, that's when you start losing your memory. So what we've done, besides joining Jenny Craig and 24-Hour Fitness, we're trying to be very attentive to our health and our overall well-being. I'm 78 years old and I'm still playing softball. So we just want you to be aware of the things that you can do. Besides Jenny Craig and 24-Hour Fitness, we do a brain health supplement. One that was discovered at Princeton University, Signum Labs, after 20 years of research, which helps you to stay focused, helps you with your concentration, and all of these good things to do that you can do in order to keep yourself as healthy as possible. So if you want any more information, if I don't have your email address, please don't assume that I have it. Let's exchange email address and we can send you more information if you want.
Okay.
So one last thing. Are any of you here members of ARP?
Yes.
So ARP is doing a national campaign on like 12 major issues affecting older adults and their families. Caregivers is one. Aging and age-friendly communities is another. So especially in large cities, I think like Chicago, Atlanta, and other places, a lot of community, well, I shouldn't say that. There's a little town just south of us, 18,000 people, and they're doing the same kind of work. Really looking at how do you make a community age-friendly. So if you're a member of ART, you probably get those notices from them. You can send them a note and say what is important to you in your community, because they're interested. They want to know. Joanne, the woman who's head of AVR, is really interested in your ideas. So if you have an opportunity to get involved in your own communities in this area of aging, please do. For those of us that work in this area, we just think older folks are people you can never forget. The truth is, and not so far away in DC and in some of our nations or state capitals, older adults are forgotten. So ARP is really a place where you can kind of throw your energy and let them know what you're interested in, what you want. So thank you.
Well, Ann, question for you. Now, I don't know if you hit on Social Security, like even if you have an ex-husband and he had really good Social Security, you could collect it as long as you don't remarry. So you need to check it out. Who has the better Social Security?
Check out. So when I was getting ready to retire, I was married before, and I was married for 12 years. So I went in because you can go online and look at this, and then you want it, but you don't want to just do it online. You want to talk to somebody because they're so knowledgeable. So I went in, I got Terry's Social Security number, and the woman looked at his, looked at John's, looked at mine, and she really gave me this good, solid advice about what I should do at my age, with what I was thinking I would do. So yeah, you really want to check and talk to somebody who knows. And they're so smart. I mean, there's a lot of folks out there who really know this kind of answer. So.
Okay. Because I think a lot of people think because they got divorced, they're not entitled to that Social Security, but they are.
No,
Yeah.
John's first wife, over 10 years, and then he draws on John.
Okay.
But I drew on John for a short time too. So you could be married 5 times.
Okay.